All right, question number 11. We have three parts. We want to determine the following limit of this function as we approach -6 from the left, -6 from the right, and the overall limit as we approach -6 coming from both sides. So we are trying to find the limit as x approaches -6 first from the left of the function x minus 1 times the quantity x minus 6 over x plus 6. Okay, so if we plug in -6 with direct substitution, the denominator will give us 0. However, if we plug in -6 in the numerator, and this will work, it'll be the same each problem. We'll have -6 minus 1, and then we'll have a -6 minus 6. So this will give me a -7. This will give me a -12. And then we multiply negative times a negative, so we end up with a positive 84. So the numerator is going toward 84. That is a constant. It's going to stay. On the bottom, if we plug in -6, we're going to get 0. So we need to see what happens as we get closer to it. So I'll make like a little table. So if I plug in -6 and then we add 6, again we're going to 0. But I need to see what is happening as we're going towards 0 and we're going from the left side. So the left side means I'm coming from the negative side. So the numbers that I would use if I was making a table, kind of like what we've done, because I'm not using the graph, I would start at -7 and see the overall value, and then I would go -6.5 and then -6.1 and just continue to inch closer. So if you use these numbers and then we add the 6, I'm just trying to see the pattern, so I'll get a -1. This will give me a -0.5. This will give me a -0.1, and it'll just continue to go down that way. So if I take each of these numbers and divide by, 84 divided by these numbers, the first one will give me a -84. Okay, and then if I divide it by -0.5, that'll give me a -168. If you divide this by -0.1, you'll get a -840. And then if you continue to inch closer and closer to 6 from the left, using -6.01 and 0.001, you'll see this number will be negative. The overall value will be negative as I divide by each of those, and increasing in magnitude in the negative direction. So overall, we will say this limit is going toward -infinity. Okay. And then when we do part B, okay, so we're doing the same function. This time we're approaching -6 from the right. Okay, same function. Now I already know the top, when I do direct substitution, is again tending, well, yeah, we're still approaching -6, we're just coming from the other side, but this overall function is still going toward 84 whenever you do direct substitution. Now on the bottom, again, if you plug in -6, you're going to get a 0, so that doesn't tell us anything. So we need to tend closer and closer to -6, but we're coming from the right. So on the right side of it, the next closest whole number on the right is -5. So I'll use -5, and then I'll go half a step. So I'll go -5.5, and then we'll go -5.1, and then we'll continue to inch closer, but we want to kind of see what's happening here. So if I add 6, I'm just kind of working on this bottom part here. That will give me a +1. This will give me a +0.5. This gives me a +0.01. Okay, so if I take all of these numbers, divide them by 84, 84 divided by all of these numbers, 84 divided by 1 will give me 84, and then 84 divided by 0.5 will give me a positive 168, and then 84 divided by 0.01 will give me a positive 840. So I'm seeing the same numbers, but these are all positive. So I have a positive on top divided by positive. That's going to end up tending toward positive infinity. Okay, so now that we've done both sides, if we were to look at this, one side is going to negative, one side is going to positive infinity. Since both sides aren't going to the same direction, we would say that this graph is does not have a limit. The limit does not exist. So overall, if we were to graph this, and you can kind of tell that from algebra that you would have a vertical asymptote at x equals -6. So we'll have this line that the graph doesn't cross, and then what's happening is one side of the graph, as I'm approaching it from the right, is going up toward positive infinity, and then as we're approaching this from the left side, the original one going from the negative, the graph starts going down toward negative infinity. So these aren't going to the same place as we approach 6 from either side. So we say the limit does not exist. So the first part, as we approach it from the left, we said it was negative infinity. The next part, as we approached it from the right, we ended up with positive infinity. And if you look at the overall value, they're going in different directions, so we say the limit does not exist. So even when it's infinity, it doesn't exist, but if they both go to the same direction, we can say positive infinity or negative infinity.